Getting ready for more action here at Hooton Park in the Indikart Plus. It is time for Senior Rotax Heat 1, and it's Robbie Rathbone and Ben Knowles on the front row of the grid from Jack Hayes-Roberts and Troy Spencer, then Callum Kinder and Leo Jackson from Alex Eads and Tommy Lee, then it is Curtis Harding and Lewis Marika. Then in the 11th position is Mackenzie Stevens ahead of Lucas Miles, Luke Davies and Zach Boker, James Eyre and Adam Cerner, and then 17th is Lewis Smith ahead of John Bramwell, with James Barrett ahead of Alexander Mirzian, rounding out the top 20. So the battle is going to be an interesting one right to the start. Can Rathbone hold this into turn one? Off we go. We get the starter's orders up to the first corner. A bit of a slide from Rathbone, but everybody's getting through just about. Oh, that's Eads, who's actually right at the back of the grid, sliding off the road. Whoa, Miles goes airborne. Kinder's going to get squeezed. Oh, he's actually spun it, and everybody else is trying to avoid him. Lee went in. I think Knowles went in there as well. Marika got tagged as well. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, Marika is off on the left-hand side of the circuit. He's pulled over. You can see Alex Eads at the back there. Jake should have been starting P7, was starting at the back for some reason.
But then Miles, he just got tagged in the middle, trying to avoid it. Kinder has gone off in the middle as well there in turn two, and everybody else is just trying to pick a direction, and there's so much contact. Everybody just trying to pick whether you go left, whether you go right. It's the ultimate chain reaction. Marika's off to the left. Eads has managed to, I think, get going again, or is no, Eads is not going on any further, so he's dropped it at turn one and he's parked it there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what problem he had. He should have started P7.
Kinder's out as well now.
Yeah, Kinder's out, Marika's out, and Eads is out on that opening lap. So each should have started P7. There's a confirmation. But he seemed to start at the back of the field. It looks like he's had some sort of mechanical problem maybe.
Yeah, and of course when you have that on the grid, you have a certain amount of time to get back into a grid position. Otherwise you have to take your position at the back, and that's clearly what's happened on this occasion. So after 2 laps now, goodness me, 2 laps of racing have gone by and we've been focusing on one incident. Rathbone is your leader, Hayes-Roberts in second, then Spencer, Jackson, Stevens and Harding. Luke Davies is just in behind him as well, but this is the duel for the lead. Well, it was. Jack Hayes-Roberts is all over the back of Robbie Rathbone. It's the 8 versus the 88. All the 8s at the front of the field then. Spencer with Jackson all over him.
Yeah, 3 8s. If you like bingo, it's 3 fat ladies. If you're a poker fan, it's 3 snowmen at the front of the field. 8 versus 88.
Right, Rathbone is leading this race. He did so from pole position, but Jack Hayes-Roberts, who we've seen a few times trying to fight his way through at the sharp end of the field, is desperately trying to prove that this is not Robbie Rathbone's day. It's sometimes a better driver in the race than it is in qualifying, and he's got an opportunity here. And there is Lewis Marika's car parked up at the side of the road. Meanwhile, Leo Jackson is fending off an opportunity. He feels that he's got a chance here on Troy Spencer, who's the man just in front of him in P3. Mackenzie Stevens in 5th, Curtis Harding is in 6th, and then it's Luke Davies ahead of Ben Knowles, Tommy Lee and James Eyre. Very impressive from Knowles and Lee, considering they were 2 of the drivers that got caught up on that turn 2 incident.
Yeah, the gap's pretty big, isn't it, between 4th place, Leo Jackson, there's 1st and 2nd. This is the battle for the lead. You've got 3rd and 4th, not far behind them, 1.8. This is the battle for 5th though, and look at that, it's sort of 5.5 seconds behind the driver in 4th place.
Well, that just shows you what the momentum of that first lap incident, plus the overall speed of these 4 out front, is just stretching it out, and that gap is growing rather than decreasing. So it doesn't matter how hard these 4 fight, they're really going to struggle to catch up to the leading quartet. But it's Stevens, Harding, Davies and Knowles. They're all very close together. Leo Jackson still running in 3rd position. Oh no, he's into 3rd position. Oh, my apologies, I missed where he did that. Yeah. But he's managed to get through past Spencer.
Yeah, obviously on that lap, Spencer was 3rd. Leo Jackson, we know Leo, we've known Leo for a long time, Jake, since he was racing in Super 1. I think he may still be doing that this year. But yeah, and then Mirzian started 20th, Jake. He's up to 13th now. Obviously, we've made up 3 cheap places on that opening tour, obviously. Managed to miss that, but he's up 7 so far. Let's see how far he can go. This is that battle for 5th place. That's Mackenzie Stevens, easy to spot in that sort of green and red helmet with the red suit on.
But it's not just about inheriting those places, is it? It's about maintaining it. It's about trying to keep that position as well, rather than, you know, just let it slip. And Mirzian has got a little bit of pressure from Lewis Smith, but Smith is doing his best to keep it together. We continue with this 3rd place battle, and that is the 5th place battle, I should say, up the inside. Now that is Miles getting through on Mirzian, I do believe. So the man who went airborne, who was obviously demoing out for Emirates Airways, got himself there up into 13th place, passing Mirzian in the process.
Yeah, it was a good move. Lucas Miles that was on the 18 car, I think, Jake, but again, back with this battle for 5th. Well, we were for a while. This is the battle for 12th.
It's hard
again.
to know where to look because there are so many good battles
all over the track. Difficult to keep a track on all of them, but this again, battle for 5th. It's there's good tight battles wherever you are. That's the thing about grassroots karting. You always tend to find your level and other people on your level to play with.
Harding having a look because Mackenzie Stevens is starting to swarm around a little bit. That's the kind of pressure he's under. As we continue to watch Rathbone being hassled by Jack Hayes-Roberts, you do get the sense with Jack that he's just sat there in second position. He's not going to overwork it. He's just going to follow Robbie. He's going to let him do all the hard work.
Yeah, he's a race winner here, Jack Hayes-Roberts. Now, he may take a view here. If he thinks, I just can't get past him, he's got a big lead over Leo Jackson in 3rd, doesn't he? So he could easily think, you know what, we've got another heat and then the final. It's the final where all the pots are divvied up, not in the heats. He may decide just to, you know what, I'm going to back up, I'll take 2nd in this heat.
Yeah.
And just back off, just look after my tyres. It's all about tyre management.
It's not about Culloden, is it? It's about Bannockburn. It's about the heat. It's about the win in the final rather than in the heats, isn't it? So, yeah, it could be very interesting. Down the straight, Jackson and Spencer. And then in the background, you've got Mackenzie Stevens in front of Curtis Harding, Ben Knowles and Luke Davies. They come up towards the first corner. 6/10 of a second between those 4. Any one of them gets a wheel wrong or drops a brake pedal in the wrong place or hits a curb at the wrong angle and unsettles the weight balance of the kart in that particular moment. All 3 of the others have a chance to benefit.
Yeah, Mackenzie Stevens this is in front with the red suit, and not looking behind him, which is what I like to see. I don't like to see drivers looking behind, because that's an invitation to the driver behind to throw one up the inside. Because you've had a look at me, you know I'm here, I'm going to throw one up the inside. If you wipe me out, then you know I'm there, and there goes Troy for 3rd place. Another nice move by Troy Spencer.
Well, that's not the first time those two have swapped positions. Did you see the slide on Ben Knowles? He almost drove right into the side pod of Curtis Harding, just trying to break into turn 1. Well held, though.
Looks like Robbie is just pulling away slightly here from Jack, and again, is Jack just thinking, you know what, I'm going to take 2nd in this one. I mean, if it was me, definitely last couple of laps, 2 laps, well, in fact, 1 lap to go as I go through the line. And now, if I'm Jack Hayes-Roberts, I'm just literally tooting round on this last lap. I'm going to save a lap on the rubber.
Absolutely, you've got to pace yourself at this level. The one that matters is the last race of the day, and if you can showcase, you can still hang with Robbie Rathbone and then get it all set up a little bit more aggressively in terms of tactics later and bring out your best then, and that's obviously going to be something he'll focus on. But Robbie Rathbone will certainly take the psychological edge. He just banged in the fastest lap as well, 35.3 for him. He comes out of the final hairpin, and still this battle goes on for 5th position. That'll be interesting to watch a little later on, but the checkered flag is out for Rathbone, and Robbie Rathbone takes the win in front of Jack Hayes-Roberts. It is going to be Spencer who just hangs on in front of Leo Jackson. That duel, I don't think is done for the day. I think that's just getting started.
That's a good battle, that Troy Spencer and Leo Jackson there, and Mackenzie Stevens ends up. That's a great effort by Mackenzie to hold on to 5th. Under pressure throughout, Jake. He had 5th. Never looked behind, just kept looking forward and ended up coming out on top of that battle.
Yes, indeed. Admirable from Tommy Lee as well, the man who had to try and take avoiding action on that first lap melee, and he managed to stay with them. Oh no, sorry, that is Callum Kinder from the very first lap, so clearly looking at the damage assessment, it's going to be a long walk back to the pits from there.
Shaking his head, Callum Kinder. He's got some pace, Jake, I can tell you. Callum Kinder, quality driver, he's got some pace. We'll see how that all pans out in heats 2 and the final.
Well, Lewis Marika also dropping out of that race, but Robbie Rathbone holding it from the start. Hayes-Roberts, Spencer, Jackson and Mackenzie Stevens all making up places, from Curtis Harding in P6 and Ben Knowles all the way down to P7 after a strong start from the front row of the grid. Luke Davies in 8th position ahead of Tommy Lee, Zach Boker rounding out the top 10.